Bizarre TSA freeze security drill caught on camera. This is another Infowars.com story picked up by the Drudge Report today. The TSA's bizarre new policy where it orders travelers who have already passed through security to freeze on command has been caught on camera, with the clip illustrating once more how the federal agency has implemented a series of ludicrous policies that seemingly have no other purpose than to act as an obedience test for the traveling public. Let's go to the clip.
Stay right where you are. Stay right there. Stay right there.
So there you see the last 20 seconds of this absurd TSA drill. Basically, they yell at everybody to freeze. Everybody does, apart from one guy who's strolling through the airport. The TSA goon says, "Stop right where you are." And this is after they've already passed through security. This is supposedly the secure area of the airport. And they're basically stood there like statues, you know, like children playing some warped version of Simon Says, until the uniformed goon tells them it's okay to move again. And it's all completely pointless, as everything is with the TSA, if you look at it from their perspective. Do you really think a terrorist is going to want to make himself stand out from the crowd by not freezing? No, he's going to freeze too, like everybody else. So from that security perspective, it's completely moronic, like everything they do. And though the TSA has actually tried to avoid talking about it, they're remiss to go on the public record about it. It actually came out through different questions by mainly a New York Times writer. Its code name is Bravo Sierra, or BS for short. Isn't that ironic? And they basically admitted to New York Times writer Joe Sharkey that, this is a quote, "Passengers are not required to freeze in place like statues," from TSA spokeswoman Kristen Lee. So they have no power to enforce it, and it serves no rational purpose whatsoever, except when you understand that everything the TSA does, from punishing those who opt out of the naked body scanner with more invasive grope downs, punishing reporters who speak out against the TSA, you know, testing drinks inside the airport after passengers have already passed through security. Everything they do is about obedience training. They're breaking Americans in, you know, like you would with a horse. It's about how much people will put up with. This is about making you obey no matter how bizarre the order is. And in fact, our own InfoWars reporters, Aaron Dykes and Rob Dew, experienced this very same ridiculous policy firsthand last year. I think it was earlier this year, actually, when they were traveling through Austin Bergstrom Airport. So let's roll the clip.
From where I am, over here.
Hello. We've got a little situation here by
So the safest place for you to be is on this side, right now.
Makes no sense.
Just a little bit of patience. I understand you have places to go, but let's make sure that you can.
Your safety's a joke.
Pardon me?
Your safety's a joke, man.
It's your opinion, you're entitled to it. I don't know certain things. Almost wrapping up. Okay, folks, thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course, nothing actually going on, just freaking out as Austin just put in body scanners, so it's kind of a new level.
TSA action. What a joke. So basically, if we put up with this, then we'll start to see Americans put up with everything. I mean, I did a satirical piece earlier in the week based off a South Park episode where the TSA is conducting cavity searches at public restrooms in fast food restaurants. And some people thought it was real. It's got so bad with the TSA that people can actually entertain the plausibility that TSA goons would carry out anal probes in restaurants. That's how bad it's got. And so for this reason, amongst many others, we're launching our exciting new campaign, Opt Out and Film Week, which is going to run during Thanksgiving week, November 19 to 26. And it's basically about opting out of the chat downs, the drinks test, the ridiculous freeze policy, the body scanners, all of it. Because the TSA admits that nobody's forced to do it. Nobody has to do it. They just do it because it's obedience training. It's dog training, it's horse training, whatever you want to call it. So it's about opting out and filming the grope downs. You know, stop being victims of obedience slave training and reclaim your right to privacy and your First Amendment. Because the TSA, again, admits on its own website it's not illegal to film them. So let's get in their faces, shine the light of exposure on how these cockroaches behave on a daily basis. And the answer to it all is not just don't fly, which is what a lot of people say over and over again every time we do a TSA piece, because the TSA are expanding everywhere. Highways, bus stations, political events, music concerts, even high school prom nights. So you don't just hand over your right to travel freely, you know, your right to mobility. That's giving in. That's not victory. That's giving them what they want. The answer is not just to stop flying. The answer is to stand up, get back in their faces, opt out, civil disobedience, and actually film what's going on with the TSA takeover. So you can get more information about that campaign at INFOWARS.com. More TSA news now. TSA goon caught stealing iPad by ABC News blames his wife. When ABC News decided to investigate reported spate of thefts by TSA officers of passenger belongings, its news team purposefully left an iPad behind at a checkpoint in Orlando Airport. Barely 2 hours later, the device was tracked to the home of a TSA screener who then blamed his wife for the theft when confronted. And so this video, they basically go to the guy's home, they confront him. He lies, claims his wife brought the iPad home. They tell him they've got footage of him stealing the iPad on a security tape. They've installed a tracking app on the iPad. That's how they're able to locate it to his house. He basically just shuts the door in their face. He's been caught. And again, it all goes back to the point that TSA has nothing to do with security. TSA is actually harmful to real security because it's admitted that they don't conduct background checks on employees. I mean, this is why you have such a large contingent of TSA employees who apply for the job, simply because it puts them in the position of being able to grope people and steal things. They deliberately hire pedophiles and criminals. I mean, that's why you get constant stories of TSA goons, you know, stealing laptops, stealing cash, stealing jewelry, not to mention the sexual harassment and assault. Because almost every week there's a story like this. Almost every week there's a story about, you know, a TSA agent being a child molester or being, you know, caught having a stash of kiddie porn. And these are the people that the federal government is empowering to man Checkpoint USA. Highways, musical concerts, political events. They were at the Mitt Romney event, the Paul Ryan event. They were at the RNC, the DNC, you know, high school prom nights. Where's it going to end? You can't just get... Not flying is not a solution when they're out at every public event. It's not a solution. And so this is why you've got to stand up in unison. You've got to counter the obedience training. You've got to counter the thugs that they hire because they've got no proper practice for background checks. And you've got to get on board with this opt-out and film campaign that we've got going, because there's a chance that the Republicans could defund this after November. They've already got major airports kicking out TSA screeners, replacing them with private security. And this is exactly what John Meeker said, the chair of the House Transportation Committee. This is the tip of the iceberg. It's an outrage to the public, outrage to the aviation system. So the Republicans, whether they follow through on it, are making noises about defunding the TSA, which is why this campaign arrives at the perfect time for everybody to get on board and try and bash that final nail in the coffin of this loathed federal agency that's just come to represent everything that's gone rotten about America since 9/11.
For more than 6 years, I've talked on the air about creating a social network. PlanetInfoWars.com is in its beta phase. We're just launching it, and I want to invite all of you out there to be in on the ground level. Planet InfoWars is about people coming together, forming activist organizations, getting involved politically, hunting and fishing, gardening, dating. This is a place for people who love freedom to meet and to talk and to write and to post information. And I give you this pledge. We are not going to spy on you and sell your data to the New World Order. PlanetInfoWars.com is free, so people who love freedom can get together, connect with people who are awake and know what we're facing. Be active, organize, take action, go viral, create, contribute, resist, because resistance is victory. You are victory. It's waiting for you to breathe power into it. PlanetInfoWars.com.